with me is his father, Charlie Bothuell. Charlie, we're getting reports that your son has been found in your basement. Sir?
Yo, look at Nancy's face.
Mr. Bothuell, are you?
What?
Yeah, we are getting reports that your son has been found alive in your basement.
What?
Yes, that's what, if you could hand me that wire very quickly. Yeah, we're getting that right now from how could your son be alive in your basement?
And Charlie and your son would never hurt Charlie?
Well, you will not hurt him harm, you will discipline him. So that much I know. You will discipline him. You will discipline him, but not hurt him.
Now Charlie Bothuell is fighting back against TV personality Nancy Grace.
From his missing son to his guilty plea in court just a few weeks ago, now Local 4 News has learned he's striking back against a TV figure looking for a considerable payday.
And, you know, he faced torture charges with his son, also child charges, lost his job as a registered nurse, also separated from his wife, apparently living with family in West Bloomfield. But then there is this lawsuit filed today against Nancy Grace. As uncomfortable as that is to watch, Charlie says his brush with Nancy Grace ruined his life, so he's suing her, looking for a payback.
Believe it or not, Charlie's father actually tried to sue Nancy Grace. It says here, defendants broadcast to the world false information about plaintiff, evidence and allegations against him while accusing him of the most heinous possible crime, long-standing torture of his minor child, that there were markings all over Charles's body that correspond to a particular PVC pipe used by the father to beat his son and make all those markings on his body. Plaintiff's reputation, economic opportunities, mental and emotional well-being, and his family were all irreparably harmed by defendant's malicious and reckless defamation. Except there's a problem because that lawsuit got dismissed.
Would you have ever hurt Charlie?
No.
You never hurt Charlie?
No.
But this video of Charlie's child guilty plea in court last month might prove a problem.
You disciplined him and you hit it with him. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Let's
hear Mr. Bothuell say. Did you hit your son Charlie the 5th with the PVC pipe?
Yes.
With the PVC pipe?
Yes.
Your son would never hurt Charlie?
Well...
About an hour before Charlie was found yesterday afternoon, his stepmom did not have much to say, but Action News has learned that her uncle, Godfrey Dillard, who is running for Michigan State Attorney General, has a listed address in the same building, just 3 condo units away from his niece, Charlie's stepmom. And police sources believe Monique Dillard Bothuell knew little Charlie was being kept a prisoner in the basement. And in the back of the basement, there is a hallway that actually connects all of the units. So was little Charlie able to come and go on his own, or was some adult orchestrating his every move?
The weird thing about this story is that the more and more that I dig, the more and more weird stuff that I find. And thank you to Flossie that sent me a lot of the information with this video. And so, judge, no torture in case of Detroit boy found in basement. A judge dismissed torture charges Wednesday against the father and stepmother of a missing boy found in the basement 11 days later, saying that she doesn't believe he was stuck there and was paralyzed by fear last summer during a highly publicized search by police. He never yelled out. He never stood up. He never made himself known, Judge Shannon said, after hearing testimony over many days. I just don't believe him. I don't believe he was in that basement. Nonetheless, judge ordered Charlie and Monique to trial on second-degree charges based on photos of the 13-year-old's body. The boy was forced to follow a rigorous exercise regimen while educated at home and was struck with a stick or PVC pipe if he had disciplined his dad or stepmother. He says his home was a terrible place. Defense lawyers, however, said Charlie was lying and had many opportunities to leave the house during his time in the basement. A key point embraced by the judge. They claimed he simply ran away because he didn't like his home. The dismissal of the torture charge was a big victory for the couple because the crime can carry up to life in prison. The Bothuells cried with relief and hugged their defense lawyers. In her final argument, the prosecutor said that Charlie was a prisoner in his home and the elder, his father, was the warden. She said the boy's disappearance brought to light years of physical and mental abuse and isolation. He was so terrorized, even when police were looking for him, he did not speak up in the basement, which is what we heard originally in the first story, that he was afraid to speak up. That's why he didn't say anything, supposedly, even though, remember, police said they had been down there 4 times with dogs and everything. But Holmes said it doesn't seem reasonable that the boy wouldn't call for help. So as stated previously in the video, they pleaded guilty to 4th-degree child abuse after accepting a plea deal. So they didn't get charged for torture. Now, this was an interesting video clip that we have to watch together.
Bothuell spent another day on the witness stand. He
And this throws like another twist. And I have another twist after this.
told the court his dad abused him and his stepmother forced him to hide from police in the family's basement for 11 long days.
Today, the defense had a chance to cross-examine him. And as 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig explains, his story started to fall apart.
You want to talk about what you want to do with life? You want to make movies, don't you?
Yes. 13-year-old Charlie Bothuell V being grilled by his father's defense attorney today, getting the young boy to admit that in 2012 he lied to police when he ran away. All very similar to the case that has his father and stepmother.
So there was another situation where he had run away previously.
Facing criminal charges of abuse and torture.
The guy with gray hair held you in a basement?
I said I was in the tunnel, not the basement.
Oh, the guy with, sorry, the guy with gray hair kept you in the tunnel. Remember that?
Yes.
And that was a lie.
Yes.
You made up that a guy with gray hair actually held you in a tunnel, kidnapped you and held you in a tunnel, right?
Defense attorney Sean Patrick Smith spent several hours Wednesday trying to crush young Charlie's claims that he was abused and forced to live a tortured life, and admit that the reason that he was homeschooled was because he was having behavior problems at school. Attorney Smith saying young Charlie's life was anything but isolated.
You remember the summer of 2013 when you went to the Grand Canyon and the Hoover Dam?
Yes.
And as for the exercise regime that has been described as extreme and even abusive?
Matter of fact, you used to take pictures of yourself flexing and send them out. Remember that? Send them to your mom, pictures of you going like this, how proud you were.
Yes.
Then there's what seems like this apology note that young Charlie wrote in early 2000.
And this is crazy too. I can't even read it, Wes, but it says that supposedly it had bleach and other contaminants.
2012, where he said that he used bleach and window cleaner on the dishes because he thought it would make everyone sick and they would send him back to live with his mom. The defense saying young Charlie was willing to poison his dad, stepmom, and younger siblings to get what he wanted.
And I thought that they would be the family, would send me back to my mom's house, right?
Yes.
That's what you wrote.
Yes.
But on redirect, Charlie said while he wrote the note, those were not his words.
Oh, so he wrote the note, but it wasn't his words, is what he's saying.
Were those your words that were written on the paper?
No.
Whose words were they?
Mother's.
The preliminary.
What did it say, his mother's? Stepmom?
Words that were written on the paper.
No.
Whose words were they?
Mother's.
Another weird plot twist. I wanted to share this with you, and then we're going to get into Charlie's.
Days before little Charlie was found, his stepmom told police she had caught him shortchanging his workout regime, and in a statement to police wrote, quote, "It's my belief that Charlie no longer wanted to talk to his dad about him being in trouble, and rather than be lectured about respect and personal responsibility, he would rather leave."
You indicated that they were being videoed.
Yes.
Okay. Did you inform them that they were being videoed?
No.
About a week before then 12-year-old Charlie Bothuell was found hiding in the basement, Detroit police interviewed them at headquarters for about 7 hours. And today the defense seemed to be criticizing police for that extended interview that began around 10 at night, because the Bothuells also have 2 young children together, and they were there with them the entire time.
And they had their kids with them?
Yes.
The little baby kids, small kids?
Yes.
And they were there for 7 hours at your police station?
It's been asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question. The kids were there. Let's keep moving.
The defense suggested that police did not even look into the possibility that the boy was lying about being forced by his stepmom to hide in the basement behind a barrel and boxes. In fact, one of Mr. Bothuell's attorneys says there's just no way that all those local, state, and federal officers of the law could have missed a young boy, and they contend young Charlie was coming and going as he pleased.
Do you remember he told you the son had problems? He tried to burn the house down, things like that?
No, sir, I don't remember that.
No? You don't remember him saying that he had behavioral problems? He was doing things in the neighbor's garbage cans?
Objection, Your Honor.
Then, in a moment that stunned every reporter covering the case, an FBI agent called to the stand by the defense said there was a marijuana grow operation in the Bothuell's basement.
And what are these 3 squares off to the right?
Those are
a marijuana grow operation. I'm done.
Called to the stand by the defense said there was a marijuana grow operation in the Bothuell's basement.
And what are these 3 squares off to the right?
those are rows that were part of the grow operation.
What is a grow operation?
It's a marijuana operation for cultivating plants.
And this is another one that's pretty big, and I'm just kind of like trying to wrap my head around this story.
The officer in charge of the case finally on the stand.
Did you draw any conclusion as the commander that the child may have been murdered?
It was deemed a possibility.
5 days after Charlie Bothuell IV and his wife Monique reported his 12-year-old son missing, Detroit Police Sergeant Paul Pesmark became the officer in charge of the case. He's the last witness for the prosecution in this long preliminary exam to see if there's enough evidence to order the Bothuells to stand trial on charges of abuse and torture. The defense contends 12-year-old Charlie had not been ordered by his stepmom to hide in the basement. They suggest that young Charlie alone was choosing to hide from police and his family. Sergeant Pesmark says there was a surveillance camera in the common hallway outside the basement.
What did you view on that surveillance video?
I observed the missing Charlie Bothuell V prior to the day he went missing, taking garbage out. And then from the time that he went missing to the time that I arrived, I did not observe him go through the basement door.
So there's cameras, I guess, in that back hallway to the basement area, which now I'm just still confused. So was he in the basement the entire time? Because the impression that I had was that maybe he was going in and out. But if he doesn't see him there, how could he have been in the basement the entire time and the FBI there with multiple times? I don't know. I'm confused.
Today, prosecutors admitted into evidence an explosive text from Mr. Bothuell to his wife just about an hour or so before Mrs. Bothuell said Charlie ran away. They were texting about what they considered were excuses Charlie was coming up with to avoid his 4,000 revolutions on the elliptical. Mr. Bothuell wrote, "Wow, we need to get this money and ship his expletive. I am going to gear him towards completing one of these expletive law schools that I'm about to attend. He lacks the discipline and core character and drive to be a doctor, nurse, scientist, period. Maybe time and continued effort may help, but I have no reason to be hopeful at this point. Let's get this money and get him gone."
Damn, let's get this money and get him gone.
And Mr. Bothuell's attorneys say he was actually referring to getting money to send young Charlie to boarding school.
There is this article that talks about the boy in the basement, quote unquote, where he talks about trying to unalive himself. And he says here that a lonely life, he testified to a lonely life of intense exercise, punishment, and an attempted unaliving during the hearing for his father and stepmother. In a harrowing testimony, Charlie said that he was beaten with a PVC pipe after briefly running away when he was 11 years old. Charlie said he wandered the neighborhood nearly 3 hours until police found him and took him home. After police left, the boy's father told him to lie across the dining room table and hit him with a wooden stick and a PVC pipe, Charlie said. After that, any whooping I had was done with the PVC pipe, testified Charlie, who said he doesn't know how many times he was struck with the pipe in the years after he tried to run away in 2012. He said he was hit all over his body with the pipe, my head, my sides, my butt, my feet. He said the skin on his backside split open from the blows, he said. I could feel it and I saw it. During the subsequent punishments, Charlie was told to roll over to expose more parts of his body to be hit, he said. Charlie could not recall if he was clothed during the beatings. It got bad enough that the boy attempted to unalive himself May 2013 by slashing his wrist, he said. It was a terrible place to be, the way I would be whooped and treated, Charlie said. Basically, I had gotten so upset and depressed and sad about being there to the point where I tried to unalive myself. Charlie's father and stepmother looked straight ahead and at their notes as Charlie testified. Charles appeared to focus on his hands as he answered questions from the prosecutor. He was asked to speak up several times when his voice became too soft to hear. Charlie said he lived with his father and stepmother for about 2 years beginning in November 2011. He attended school in 5th grade for about 1 month before switching to homeschooling in December 2011, he said. His father taught him at home using 2 English and science textbooks taken from an elementary school, Charlie said. When he returned to traditional school for 7th grade in September 2014, he had trouble keeping up, probably because of the home teaching that he was getting. Some things I wasn't taught or just didn't know, he said. Charlie said he slept in the den of his father's home on the 1300 block of Nicollet Place in Lafayette Park from November 2011 until October 2013. After that, he said he slept on the couch. Basically, I got in trouble, and part of my punishment was to go lay down on the couch, he said. That was where I slept from then on. Charlie called another punishment reaching for excellence when he was told to stand in a corner with his arms in the air until he was allowed to stop. That kind of made me flash back to when I was a kid, and my mother was Jehovah's Witness, and when I wouldn't want to go to church, I was made to get on my knees and stay in the closet for hours, like in the dark. He also detailed a daily, which I just consider punishment, but yeah. He also detailed a daily exercise routine that began with a protein shake at 5 a.m. and included up to 4 hours of workouts ordered by his father. The boy's father would beat him if he did not complete the exercises or his school assignments, Charlie said. He often was forced to continue working it out after the beatings. During the beatings, Charlie said he begged his father to stop. I'd say, please stop and I'll do better. Charlie testified. His father also threatened to send Charlie to military school in Utah or Haiti. Utah always coming up. The Mormons. The boy said stepmother also punched him and choked him, allegedly. Charlie said he didn't have friends because he wasn't allowed outside unless he was going to the grocery store or with his stepmother to take his younger brother, who has autism, to school. Charlie said he never told his mother about the abuse because he did not think it would make a difference. I just didn't feel comfortable, he said. I just didn't think anything would change and I would still end up in the same place. Charlie testified that he now lives with his mother and 9-year-old brother. Defense attorney Sean Patrick Smith said after the hearing that Charlie leveled abuse accusations because he wanted to live with his mother. Everybody's got a motive, Smith said. He wants to live with his mom, that's it. Smith said the defense team plans to use cross-examination to uncover inconsistencies in Charlie's testimony. I found his testimony to be not credible, Smith said. I think as we get to cross-examination, we're going to find out some major problems with what he said today compared to what he said before. Smith said Charlie was never abused. It's news to me, he said, of the PVC pipe beating allegations, which I showed you the clip already that the father admitted to in court that he did hit him with a PVC pipe. Earlier Tuesday, an investigator testified that Charlie appeared relieved his father wasn't home when he was found in his family's basement. As we were moving the boxes, my partner noticed a blanket on the floor and some food. Michigan State Police Department Kenneth, at the time, I had my flashlight out and was shining it towards a 55-gallon barrel, and I noticed someone moving. Ducker, a 26-year veteran with the State Police Violent Crime Task Force, testified Charlie appeared to be hiding behind an empty barrel. The investigator identified himself and told the boy to come out. He stood up. I asked him to come to me, and he walked over to me, Ducker said. I asked him if he was okay, and he said yes. I gave him a hug. On the way upstairs after the discovery, Charlie asked if his father was home. Ducker testified. I said no, and Charlie said good. Ducker said he found Charlie after about an hour of searching the basement that was cluttered with boxes, trash, furniture, and other debris. There were more boxes on the north side of the basement stacked up approximately 6 feet high or so, he said. Charlie was discovered after investigators began moving boxes during their search. Early in the testimony, Ducker described 10 photographs of the basement that were entered into evidence by the prosecution. He described seeing scattered boxes, an entertainment system, a headboard, and several food items, including Frosted Flakes, Gatorade, pop bottles, protein bars, and chicken bones. During cross-examination, defense attorneys repeatedly sparred with prosecutors over whether certain questions qualified as hearsay. Attorneys also emphasized the presence of a bathroom in the basement and the fact that there was no locked door leading into the basement. Under cross-examination, Ducker admitted Charlie looked okay when he was found wearing a t-shirt, pajama pants, and socks. Attorney Sean Smith asked if Charlie appeared like he had been living in the basement for 11 days. I have no idea how long Charlie was in the basement, Ducker said. Smith also asked if Ducker thought Charlie was deceased before the boy was found. Let's be clear about it. You went down into the basement thinking you would find a dead child, Smith said. Ducker insisted otherwise. I did not go down into the basement looking for a dead child, he said. I did not think we'd find Charlie down there. Instead, Ducker said he was searching for evidence like blood, wires, clothing, or rope. It could have been anything. Much of Ducker's testimony Tuesday was focused on searches of the basement prior to Charlie's recovery. Ducker, who did not search the home before Charlie was found, said he did not know if other investigators had searched the basement during earlier home visits. He added it was unlikely he would have failed to find the boy during a thorough search of the basement. Attorneys also added witnesses' sightings of Charlie in the neighborhood while he was missing, but Ducker said he did not find those claims to be credible. 2 other witnesses testified prior to Tuesday in 4 days of hearing. Children's Hospital of Michigan physician Dr. Dina Nazar testified Charlie had suffered child abuse, while an undercover Detroit police officer discussed investigating the family's house the day Charlie was found. The undercover officer testified April 15th and 16th about the investigation into the case, which made national headlines and landed the father on Nancy Grace's cable TV show. The boy told staff at Children's Hospital that he was beaten by his father with a PVC pipe. He also told hospital staff his stepmother forced him into the basement and made threats in the past that she could murder him and no one would know since he was homeschooled. The father's defense attorney said the boy is a liar and he made up the story about being forced into the basement. I can't find anything new with regards to Charlie. This article here says updated October 27, 2020, but it doesn't really have anything new. It says here Charlie opens up about the abuse that he underwent while with his father and stepmother. And it says the 12-year-old boy was reported missing by his stepmother, Monique, last month, only for authorities to later discover him hiding behind a homemade barricade in their family basement. Asked why he was in the basement, Charlie told caseworkers that his stepmother sent him down there after he didn't finish one of his two-a-day workouts. The workouts included 100 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, 100 jumping jacks, 25 arm curls with a 25-pound weight, and thousands of revolutions on an elliptical machine, all to be completed within an hour. If Charlie failed to meet the time limit, his stepmother would threaten him, saying things like, I know where the sharp knives are. I can make you disappear. Charlie told authorities that his stepmother ordered him to the basement and told him, shut up, stay quiet, and don't say anything no matter what you hear. It says, although the stepmother's attorneys believe these claims to be ridiculous, they were supposed to have a court hearing to work out the couple's parental rights. Charlie is currently staying with his mother, and other siblings have been sent to live with other relatives.
I talked to Charlie's mom last Tuesday, the first to interview her. We sat on this porch. Last Tuesday, Africa Shippings told me she feared the worst as she pleaded for her son to come home if he had run away.
I don't know what else to do. Somebody, if you see him, please bring him home.
Now Charlie is home, and his mom gave me this statement. I want to hug everybody who looked for him, prayed, cried, even simply thought about him, because I believe the Lord heard it all and brought my baby back.
Now, as far as stepmom, and I don't know if she has custody, if she was able to get it back, but the stepmother of the 12-year-old Detroit boy who was missing for 11 days before he was found in his father's basement was released from jail on Saturday after posting bail. Monique has been charged with a parole violation unrelated to allegations that she wouldn't allow stepson Charlie out of the family basement. Her previous conviction was for buying a pistol without a permit. She's wearing a monitoring bracelet when she was picked up from a detention facility by her husband, Charles IV. She posted bond on Friday, but paperwork delays meant she was not released until Saturday. Dillard's 4-year-old son and 10-month-old daughter, as the stepmother, were turned over to Child Protective Services during her arrest. The state filed an emergency petition Friday saying that children should remain away from the home due to the allegations. And so I don't know if she ever got custody of those kids back. Charlie, 12, is to stay with his birth mother, and so I'm sure he's probably still with his birth mom. Charlie's sibling defends the father. Just goes round and round and round. This is from way back then.
A lot of questions in this case, but Charlie's sister says while her dad was always strict and showed his kids tough love, he never wanted anything but the best for them.
My initial reaction was one of shock.
That was after she first found out her little brother Charlie had gone missing. 11 days later, Charlie was found, and since then it's been her stepmom and father under the microscope.
I know he didn't know he was in the basement. My father, he would never do anything to hurt his kids. He just wants the best for us.
According to court documents, Charlie told investigators it was his stepmom that put him in the basement and told him not to come out no matter what. Those documents also show his father allegedly used a PVC pipe to discipline the young boy. And sources tell our Detroit affiliate that Charlie's father had been on him about his weight and required him to do 4,000 strides on an elliptical trainer without a break.
As far as the weight loss thing, that is totally exaggerated, and he made me run a mile every morning, but I lost weight and I was happy. I was healthy. We practiced healthy choices. We had a healthy diet, and I really did love the lifestyle that he was trying to provide for us.
She says her dad required the exercise because diabetes runs in the family, and he didn't want his kids to become diabetic.
He's a wonderful father. He's a loving father. He has a soft heart. And the person that they're trying to make him out to be on national TV is ridiculous, because that's not him at all.
That's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the like button. I'm not sure why I spent all this time putting this video together and deep diving, because I was just kind of curious what happened to these people. And though I got to look back, and hopefully I could present to you guys more of the chaos, or really the angles, to show you the chaos that was going on back then from all different sides and what different people were saying. To explain, I couldn't get more current information as far as where's Charlie at now. I think we found one of his Twitter profiles, but it's outdated. Kind of curious, where is he at now in life, what he would have to say now. Flossie did find the father's LinkedIn or something like that. Not that we're doing I never advocate for any kind of witch hunt, but just kind of wondering what happened and where are these people at in this day. Thank you so much for watching. Please support me. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. Take care of yourselves. Let me know down below what you think of the story, and what do you think? Is Charlie being honest and this is what happened? He was living in this home under strict guidelines, and or did the father not know? And maybe it was all the stepmother? Even though the father, I guess, had some sort of harsh disciplining because he admitted to the PVC pipes. Or was the father in on it? I don't know. There's just so many different. Or was this kid Charlie? I believe Charlie. It's I believe he went through these beatings, at least the PVC pipe stuff. But I wonder about that basement and the exiting and coming in and out. And how did police miss this kid for 4 days? I was thinking, and I was under the impression that this was a tunnel, because the articles literally say in a hiding place in a basement tunnel, but it looks like it's just a back. It's like a door to the back. If you look at this, I'm thinking, when I said tunnel, I'm thinking it's an underground tunnel. I'm like, damn, these people really doing some shady, crazy shit. Exiting the basement door of his father's apartment, number 1344 on the right, Charlie walked to his right down the tunnel. The storage closet is to the right, and the exit door, which is oddly left open, is further down the corridor. Oh, so this must be the storage closet. Hiding out, the first picture of the storage closet in the basement of the condominium townhouse where it's believed Charlie hid out during the 11 days. How is this kid? Nobody looked in there? I can't, man. I can't. How are they not going to look there, The door at the end of the tunnel at the bottom of the stairs was open all last week because people were putting their garbage in the dumpster. That means Charlie could have come and gone as he pleased. That's the whole argument these people are trying to make. This is, you guys comment down below. There's the bathroom. Tell me what you think about all this. I'm out of here. Peace. Blip, 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 blip.